More clothing, more brand positioning. That's right. This section of lecture is discussing the brand positioning, which is essential in terms of creating a unique selling proposition. I asked you all in the beginning of this class, what makes you unique? What elements can nobody else duplicate? What can you own? That's exactly what brand positioning is about. The first slide goes through STP. Segmentation, targeting, and positioning. I will tell you, for all the marketing majors and for all the ones that are in the business school within marketing, your senior project discusses an analysis for segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So please remember this concept as it will be a critical one. But let's talk about it once again with the Hokies rather than just Google. With the Hokies, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. How do we segment audiences? Do we look at just our alumni? Do we look at just our students? Those are different segments. How do we target them? Do we do different messages to students to attend different events, whether it's Parents' Weekend, homecoming, or football games, versus targeting alumni with different types of messages, nostalgia-based, come back soon, and then the overall positioning. How do we position certain aspects? This week, they had an alumni event for the VT Wine Fest. They welcomed all the alumni back and really created messaging that was powerful, but connected directly to those alumni in terms of what they were experiencing. Miss the day, miss the field, miss the campus, come back and share some wine and good times with some of your alumni friends. So that's just one example of segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Think about Disney. Think about how they segment in terms of the people, the children, versus also the parents. What type of messages? How do they target children online? How do they target children throughout their TV shows? How do they hit moms and children? Have you ever gone into a supermarket? Have you ever seen the brand campaign and brand partnerships between Disney and a variety of different food companies? That's done for a purpose. That's part of their positioning to align with key food companies such as cookies, such as cereals that the children would want, and all of a sudden having those packaging or those characters on there really engage the child who wants the product, and then the mother pays for it. Think about other ways. Do you ever think about a movie? How many times when a movie comes out, Maleficent, all the different movies that are out, they're combining and they're working with fast food chains, McDonald's, Happy Meals, it all works together for a specific brand positioning at a certain time. So please keep that in mind as you look through brand positioning and keeping in mind segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And once again, the positioning, the act of designing a company's offering so unique that only they can own. So think about it for yourself, your positioning. Potentially moving into your career. How will you position yourself that's different than everyone else? So regardless if you're a marketing major, economics major, accounting major, finance major, or even a double major, how will you distinguish yourself? For those football players out there that dream of going to the NFL, what makes you unique? Yes, your skill and your talent, but what about your brand personality? And of course, the education behind it. Think about these things. Everyone is a competitor to you. You're a brand, just like these products are that we're talking about. So keep that in mind as we go through. But once again, positioning a unique spot in the consumer's mind. Only you can own that as a brand. And looking through, thinking about positioning and looking at a perceptual map. Where can certain brands be? In this example, we look at the Belk brand. Perhaps some of you are familiar with Belk. It's a department store. There's one in Christiansburg, but the other Belks that are through the nation are quite high-end and sophisticated. The Christiansburg one is a little bit different, but look at how Belk was trying to really reinvent itself and create more of an engaging brand for who? The college students, for you. We actually worked on that last year in a marketing class and came in second in the nation. So Virginia Tech came in second, which we were very excited about. And then looking at the value proposition. Look at a product, what it is, and what it could be. So where your brand is as a personal brand. Maybe you're a junior in college. Maybe you're going to be a senior. Where you are today and where you can be. Think about the university. We just welcomed President Sands, who I just saw this weekend. He's looking at the university where it is and where it can be. Where can we take innovation? Where can you take us? Brands are always looking at that. Look at Nike. Once again, sneaker company that went into a technology company. What are the next steps? It's going to be gaming. It's going to move into augmented reality. You constantly need to be ahead of your competition, ahead of innovation, really thinking about what the next thing is in 5 years so you deliver it in 1 year and stay ahead. Looking at some examples of just some different products. We've got Purdue, we've got Volvo, and we've got Domino's. What do they promise at the end of the day? What is their core proposition? What's the benefit? What's the price premium? Sometimes purchasing something a little higher end, obviously there'll be a benefit in terms of quality, but there could have been a cheaper alternative. Perhaps you, instead of buying a Chevy truck, bought a Cadillac Escalade. What's the differences? There's a huge price premium difference. There's also that social esteem and acceptance in that brand. What else goes along with that price premium that you have paid? Consider that. Brand positioning, two core things here. Frame of reference, where the brand comes from. When you think about why you use soap, did it come from frame of reference? Did someone introduce that to you in your family? Why you drink Campbell's chicken noodle soup? Considering it. Points of parity, points of differentiation. What are points of parity? The same thing, same category. Sodas. RC Cola, Coca-Cola, they share a parity in that they're both sodas. Points of differentiation, Coca-Cola, much larger brand, over 100 years, huge brand equity. Thinking about it, points of parity, points of differentiation. Points of parity, lots of different waters exist. Differentiation, Evian, Smart Water versus regular Kroger water. What's the difference? The taste, perhaps where the water came from, and of course, the price premium. Consider that. Points of parity, everything's the same. Points of differentiation, what makes a brand unique? Goes back to those consumer and core position offerings. I give you some examples about analyzing the competition. Those are your parity. So all your classmates that are all marketing majors or finance or accounting or other football players, you're all in the same competition. How are you going to differentiate? Where's your point of differentiation? That's where you can make it in terms of from a marketing and from an engagement and building a competitive edge and a market share that dominates. And looking at how you select it. How do you select what makes you different in life? How does a brand select it? You look at strengths, features, benefits. What is out there that no other brand can own? Look at Apple when the first iPhone came out. And everyone says, oh, they were early adopters who took a hold of that. No. The first people to take a hold of a product and are also risk takers are called innovators. They knew within the first few months there would be issues with the iPhone brand, but they also knew they were purchasing a phone like no other because of the brand positioning, because of the build-up to this opening, because of the price premium that only a certain few could purchase. Considering that, that was a differentiation. Nobody else had this type of positioning. Looking at it in terms of current perceptions within the category or industry, moving down to a brand mantra. Nike, authentic athletic performance. Or Disney, fun family entertainment. When you communicate a brand mantra, think very simply. It has to be simple, it has to communicate pretty clearly, and it has to inspire. Does Virginia Tech inspire you? What's the mantra for Virginia Tech? Is it Prosen or is it invent the future? Which one do you hold true to your heart when you think of and someone says, you're a Hokie, what do you stand for? Think about it. You're thinking? I'm thinking. I'm thinking respect and I'm thinking service. And I'm thinking the best university in the entire world when I think of Hokies. Looking at establishing brand positioning, I know this is not the most exciting era, but detergent, clothing detergent, what you wash with. Look at Tide. It's the market leader. I used to work with the person who came up with the line, if it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide. Tide is evolutionary. Why? Because they created something called pods. These Tide little pods that go in, but it needed to have a special manufacturing. So watch this video as they showcase how this new innovative idea in packaging detergent and all the steps they went through to really get it and be, once again, the market leader. Other brands may follow, but Tide is the leader in this category and will continue to be if they continue to be innovating beyond any other brand. Looking at brands positioning in terms of the overall bullseye, look at this example and consider it from a coffee perspective, what people like, and then exterior in terms of the brand mantra, the points of parity, if there's substitutes, and then also the values, the promise to the consumer that creates this unique positioning. Differentiation, the competitive, what's your customer advantage? Look at it. It's got to be sustainable over time. It can't be something that just makes you different for the next month. It's got to be able to hold on to that, and it's got to be able to leverage your consumers and leverage the marketplace as well. Means of differentiation, the way you produce a product, your employees, the channels that the products get there. Customer service is a key aspect. If you look back on Tony Shea from Zappos, who's the CEO, his core focus was two things. One, unbelievable customer service, and two, creating a working environment like no other. So the people that were actually providing the customer service wanted to do a phenomenal job. That's where he felt he could do his distinction. He felt that customer service for online shoes were not where it needed to be, but he saw where it could be, and he created that positioning. And based on the success, they were acquired by Amazon. Phenomenal brand to consider. Emotional branding. If you've ever looked at one of the top advertising firms in the world, it is Saatchi & Saatchi. And when you consider it in terms of love marks and what they have done, they own this overall area. And when you think about love marks and how much consideration has been done to really build the brand and to really consider it that they own it, they're the only brand in the world that focuses on love marks, which is the ultimate relationship and engagement and love as well as respect combined. When you think about the perfect relationship, what is it? It's love, it's respect, it's understanding each other, it's value add, it's all of these things. So consider that as you go through this brand positioning. Consider some of the brands that you really love. Are they positioned and are you the target audience? How did they segment to reach you and what kind of positioning was it? Then think about the Hokie brand and how we are creating a unique positioning. Think about ideas that you would want to see the position of Virginia Tech in the future. And then of course go back to your personal brand. What is your unique selling proposition? What separates you from the rest? Where's your niche? And how are you going to drive it and leverage it to own and dominate your area? That's it for now. We'll see you online and look forward to more conversations online and any questions whatsoever. Catch up with you soon. Thank you.